Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Planetarium show. My name is Jessica. I'm the director of the Planetarium, and with me tonight are two of the students who work with me, and I will let them introduce themselves. And we'll start with Lindsay.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm a physics graduate student at UMD.
And I'm Eli. I'm a physics undergraduate student at UMD.
So tonight is our last in our Women's History Month series that we've been doing, and we will be looking at women making history, taking a look at women that are currently working in astronomy and STEM and all of the amazing discoveries and work that they have done. As always with these shows, if you have any questions throughout, feel free to leave them down in the comments. We'll be watching those, and we'll either take them as we see them, or we'll also have time at the end for questions as well. So with that, take it away, Lindsay.
Thanks. Okay, so talking about women in astronomy and science is something that Jessica and I feel especially passionate about because still the percentage of women in STEM fields is still only at about 30%. And that really hasn't gotten any better in the last 20 years. So we think it's really important to keep showing that women can do science and engineering just as well as men can. So we're going to start out with and kind of kick this off with a video from NASA that they just put out a few weeks ago for Women's History Month. So they're going to highlight some engineers and scientists that they have there working on projects right now.
March is Women's History Month, and there are women at NASA contributing every day to the success of our current missions and paving the way for future generations to reach for the stars. Mallory Jennings is the first female system manager for the Extravehicular Mobility Unit, or EMU. The EMU is the spacesuit worn by astronauts during a spacewalk outside the International Space Station. Mallory coordinates all the engineering aspects from hardware to new technologies. From communications to thermal protection to oxygen, all the systems work together to protect astronauts from the harsh environment of space. NASA is designing new spacesuits to use for Artemis missions to the moon. Leanna Rodrigues is leading the team using new technologies to develop and build the Exploration EMU spacesuit. She's the inspirational leader who will help our next moonwalkers. They will have more natural mobility and a robust life support system to explore the lunar surface and beyond. Have you ever driven a remote control car? Now, imagine it was on another planet. Farah Alibay is a systems engineer working on our new Mars rover, Perseverance. As the rover moves across the red planet, the systems she worked on make sure the rover knows the direction it's pointed and updates that position for teams back on Earth. She spent last summer testing our new rover's capabilities in a giant sandbox with a replica of the rover. Not only do we study other worlds, we also study Earth, our very own planet. From space, the Landsat program maps Earth's surface to provide information about our resources and environment. Melody Jam is leading the development of an instrument on the newest Landsat spacecraft that will launch this September. That instrument will measure the surface temperatures of our planet. Lola Fatinyimbo Age uses satellite data and imagery to study forests. Her research reveals how our ecology has changed over time and works to predict how it might change in the future. Lola is working to make our planet a better place. Erica Alston inspires students through the Space Grant Program. As an engineer, she used our satellite data to focus on air quality and climate change. Now, she expands opportunities for young Americans to understand and participate in our space projects, just like she did. Erica is a role model for future generations. Did you know the skills used to build spacecraft were also used to develop ventilators for COVID-19 patients. Michelle Easter is an expert in mechatronics, which is the design, assembly, and test of mechanisms controlled by electronics. She was part of the team that designed low-cost ventilators in response to the pandemic. Michelle was the first female to join the mechatronics group at our Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Lori Grindle is responsible for flight programs and projects at our Armstrong Flight Research Center. Lori oversees cutting-edge aerospace concepts and technologies, including experimental aircraft and unmanned aircraft systems. Flight research and testing is vital in the development of new aircraft. Women's contributions at NASA reach other solar systems. Nicole Cologne's work involves the discovery and characterization of exoplanets. These are planets that orbit around other stars. Using several NASA observatories, she was able to study a puffy exoplanet with low density, similar to styrofoam. Nicole's work is expanding what we know about the universe. At NASA, women innovate, break barriers, and explore the unknown. The list of their accomplishments is being built upon every single day. This March, take a moment to recognize the contributions of women in the world around us, and together we celebrate Women's History Month.
All right, so now we're going to get into some other women and what they are, some of the amazing things that they are also doing right now. So first we're going to take a look at some astronomers that are making history. Steffi Baum, she helped develop the Hubble Space Telescope. Maria Antonella Barrucci, she discovered 3 minor planets. Minor planets are objects in our solar system, like asteroids. Minor planets is a little more technical name for that. Sarah Seeger, she discovered 715 new exoplanets. That's like crazy a lot. So that's pretty cool. And I think we're up to 4,000 or 5,000 now for exoplanets.
Yeah, I think so.
Lucianne Walkowitz, she also worked with exoplanets. She specifically studies the exoplanets and looks at whether or not they could be habitable. And she looks at the effects of stellar radiation, specifically on the habitability of a planet. We know here on Earth that radiation is harmful to us. It would be especially harmful if we didn't have an atmosphere or a magnetic field. But because we have those two things, those mostly help with making or blocking a lot of the radiation from the sun so that we can live here safely. So she is looking at different atmospheres and things like that that exoplanets have to see how those atmospheres and different atmospheres and magnetic fields kind of affect the stellar radiation and then the habitability of the planet, the amount of radiation making it to the surface of the planet. Catherine Fries, she is a pioneer in dark matter research. So dark matter is matter that we can't see. So when we look out at the universe, we see in different places, like galaxies is where it was first found. The distribution of the stars and things and dust clouds that we can see around galaxies and the velocity of the outer edges of the galaxies that we can see don't really make sense with the how we believe gravity works. And so there must be some parts of the galaxy that we can't see that is also contributing mass to the galaxy. And so that's what dark matter is. It's just matter that we can't see, and we don't know what it is yet. She actually developed a theory about dark stars, potentially stars made up of dark matter. And again, we wouldn't be able to see them. So that's kind of cool. Andrea Ghez, she won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 2020. She was only the fourth woman to get the Nobel Prize in Physics, and she and her team helped discover the supermassive object at the center of the Milky Way galaxy, which we now know is a supermassive black hole. They developed a way to kind of observe the center of our galaxy and learn a bunch of stuff about it. And yeah, found that there was this super massive object there. Pamela Gay, she studies variable stars and galaxies. She also is a big proponent of citizen science. She has created several citizen science projects using NASA data. Right now she's working on CosmoQuest. And actually, I got to meet her at an amateur astronomy conference. She also does one of my favorite astronomy podcasts, Astronomy Cast. Katie Bowman, she was part of the group that created the algorithm for imaging black holes. So right here on the left, we have the image that they ended up creating with their algorithm. And so this is our first view of what a black hole looks like. Okay, Tabitha Boyajian. She has actually a star named after her. It's called Tabby's star, and it is pretty mysterious. And so she's going to talk about it here. Yeah.
The physics department at the College of Charleston was amazing. The kind of support that the professors give, both in your classwork and the research, are something that I strive to give my students now today. Astronomy was one of the classes that I took, and it was the professor who was teaching the class that approached me and said, you know, hey, you know, what's your major? Would you like to major in astronomy? You're pretty good at this. And so that's what brought me into the department, and I stayed. It was a great place. I could say that the College of Charleston changed my life. A lot of my research uses a technique called interferometry, and this is a way to gain super high resolution to observe the stars. And it provides fundamental data for stellar astrophysics and therefore planetary astrophysics as we observe these stars. We can measure the stars' properties very, very, very well in ways that we have not been able to do before. And we're able to push the limits of stellar models in our knowledge of the physics that actually goes into these stars. Science is you get to say something new. You know, you get to think up new things, you get to be creative, you get to, you know, develop new experiments. Here, you know, my job now is a faculty position at LSU. I get to work with students, and having that excitement there when you're actually like teaching somebody how things works and having them discover and you discovering alongside them is a really powerful, great feeling, and that's what I love.
So the interferometry method that she was just talking about, that's the method she used to look at the star that's now named after her. And the star that is named after her, the reason it is strange is because it has a strange light curve. So it gets brighter and dimmer, but it doesn't really, the light curve patterns don't really match with any variable stars that we know about. So we're wondering if there's something in that particular solar system, like one idea is like actually alien spacecraft blocking some of the starlight there for a while or something made by aliens. And then, or there could be a lot of comets or asteroids or something in that particular solar system blocking out some of the starlight occasionally. Okay, so next we're going to talk about Burchin Mutlu-Pactel, and she actually did her PhD with Mark Seeger, who is or was a research advisor here at UMD. And actually, me and Eli are both studying galaxies with our research right now, and we are working with Mark. And so, actually, we've gotten to talk to Burchin several times to talk to her about galaxies and stuff, and it's been super fun. So, super cool. This woman has a PhD from the University of Minnesota Duluth, and she discovered a galaxy that is very strange, and we don't know what it is yet, and it got named after her.
Have you excitedly told any of your family that you discovered a new galaxy?
Yeah. I said, okay, I found something new, and they're just waiting for us to.
Who was the most excited?
My mom. My mom saying, okay, my sister, my daughter find something.
This is your new galaxy?
Yes, this is the galaxy that we discovered.
What's the name?
TGC 100714, which is the catalog number for this galaxy.
Okay.
There isn't any common name for it yet.
When did you first see this galaxy?
So I was working on another project years ago, and I just happened to see this one in the background in the field of view of a galaxy I was actually analyzing. It was weird because at first I thought it was just a small elliptical galaxy, but then when I actually looked at it more closely, I actually did see a bright ring surrounding this fuzzy core of the galaxy. And when I saw that, I immediately thought of Hoag's object. So Hoag's object is just a galaxy that has orange yellowish center to it with a bright blue ring around it.
So these are really rare in the universe. And when we see one even superficially close to this, we say, okay, this is worth investigating, and we start to study it. I modeled the inner component and subtracted the central component and tried to understand is there any other feature inside the galaxy under the central body.
So on the top we have blue light, and at the bottom we have red light, and in between we have basically all the other colors of the spectrum.
So if it is blue, it shows us it's really young, and if it is red, it aged through time.
And so if you just follow this column down, you can see that in the blue light, the ring is really bright, but in the red light, the ring is really dim. So that already tells us that the ring is a blue feature. There's actually another component underneath the central bulge component, the central core component. And that's actually a red feature that appears to be another diffuse ring.
When we subtract the central component here, we see that it almost nothing left. So this shows that the inner ring is not blue. Just looking at this analysis, we find out history of that galaxy.
For you, what's like the most interesting part of this work?
You always hear about the people discover something unique, and you know that the universe is full of mystery, right? So being a part of this mystery, it's so exciting for me. So I just even this doesn't turn out a unique object like this, it would be so exciting just trying to understand the common features. Even that is exciting.
You excitedly told any.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about some engineers that are currently making history. So these are at NASA. We have Christina Deoha. She designs, tests, and verifies electrical power systems for missions, such as with the International Space Station and also the New Orion space capsule. So the New Orion space capsule is part of the spacecraft that is going to take us to the moon again. Sarah Noble works at NASA, and she's from Minnesota. At first, she studied meteorites there, but then eventually she became a program officer and a mission scientist for various missions, and she works on research and analysis programs for those missions. Helen Vaccaro, she worked in mission control kind of at the end of the space shuttle era. To give you kind of an idea, a comparison, in the Apollo mission control, there was one woman, Joanne Morgan. And so we've come quite a long way with having women in our mission control. Mei Li Cheng, she makes sure that the experiments that are done on the International Space Station are safe for the astronauts so that they can then spend more time in space. There were several women and also minority scientists that were a part of the team that sent the Perseverance rover to Mars.
We end tonight with this incredible panorama of Mars, captured by NASA's newest robotic explorer, the Perseverance rover. But what also caught our eye wasn't on Mars, it was inside Mission Control.
Touchdown confirmed.
It was the voice heard round the world.
Perseverance safely on the surface of Mars.
NASA's Swathi Mohan wasn't just a commentator.
About to conduct the flight crane maneuver.
She leads the space controls team.
How did you feel when you said the words touchdown confirmed?
I was still in a little bit of shock.
Mohan moved to the U.S. from India when she was 1. She's among more than a dozen women of color on the core Perseverance team of roughly 300.
What was it like for you, Christina, when you were watching and listening to Swathi?
I was like, yes, girl. I was so excited, to see a woman who, A, is not only giving so much to the community, but she is a technical beast.
Engineer Cristina Hernandez, who's first-generation Mexican-American, helped develop the rover's scientific instruments. And Mujige Cooper, who's half Black and half Korean, leads the team that ensures no contaminants are left on Mars.
There's no perfect team out there. Diversity could always be improved. But man, when I look around and I see women leaders and engineers, it just warms my heart.
What do you guys do for NASA?
Calculate your launch and landing site.
NASA's historic struggles with diversity are documented in Hidden Figures, the true story of female African-American mathematicians who served a vital role in the space race.
It's not so far away generationally. My father tells me about how he served in a segregated unit in the Navy. Of all groups of people, I have the most faith that scientists can think beyond the construct of whatever society says and be more inclusive to others.
Diversity is all about different viewpoints. And when you're trying to solve these complex problems, we need to be able to think outside of the box.
Did any of you ever encounter someone who said, you can't be an engineer or you can't work for NASA?
There are always moments where it's like inside you question, is it because I'm young? Is it because I'm a young female? Is it because I'm a young Black female? But you just gotta keep pushing toward the stars.
Growing up, they couldn't all afford luxuries like space camp, but their families found a way.
If there was not a local library, if we didn't have PBS, which is free, those things make it accessible no matter what your income is.
Those struggles just made us even better at our jobs. Like my grandma says, she says, échale ganas, mija. So give it your all. That's, I think, what all of us do on Mars Perseverance.
They say their greatest mission is helping the next generation.
So lots of amazing women, a part of the Perseverance rover. Also, if you haven't heard, those of us who know Perseverance rover affectionately call him Percy. Astronauts making history. So Peggy Whitson, she was the oldest female spacewalker at age 47. On April 24th, 2017, she was declared to have spent the longest cumulative amount of time in space by any NASA astronaut, male or female, and that was 665 days. And she's in 8th place for time in space among all astronauts all over the world, not just in the United States. Karen Nyberg, also from Minnesota. She served as a flight engineer on ISS Expedition 36 and 37. She spent a lot of time making videos and things for the public about what life is like in the ISS. You may have seen her video where she is showing you how she cleans her hair in space, considering she has long hair. Another fun fact, she is the first person, we think, to make a stuffed animal in space. And she made a dinosaur from space station scraps. And actually, stuffed animals are not that rare, actually, in the ISS. They are very good indicators of zero gravity. And so there actually have been a lot of little stuffed animals that have traveled along with astronauts to the ISS. Christina Cook, she spent the longest time for a woman in space. So this is in space all at one time. So she was in space from March 14th, 2019 to February 6th, 2020. That's a total of 328 days in space, but without coming back down to the Earth. And she was also part of the first all-female spacewalk.
Seeing Jessica Meir make not her first steps, but her first float out of the hatch there.
Hello, United States.
Congratulations, Christina and Jessica, on this historic event. What you do is really something very special. So first the moon, and then we go to Mars.
For us, it's just coming out here and doing our job today. We were the crew that was tasked with this assignment. At the same time, we recognize that it is a historic achievement, and we do, of course, want to give credit to all of those that came before us. There's been a long line of female scientists, explorers, engineers, and astronauts, and we have followed in their footsteps to get us where we are today.
Go women!
And it just so happens that we have the right people doing the right job at the right time. And in fact, this is historic because those two right people are women.
It's been 100 years that we've had the right to vote this year. So this year, while we celebrate that, we also check another box, women doing spacewalk. And the next one, the big one, is for us to walk on the moon.
This is a milestone. It symbolizes exploration by all that dare to dream and work hard to achieve that dream. We hope an inspiration to all future explorers.
And speaking of women next walking on the moon, this is our next class of astronauts for the Artemis mission that is heading to the moon. So you can see quite a few females in here in the back row. In the middle, we have Kayla Barron. In the middle, we have Jennifer City Gibbons, Jasmine Mogley, and Jessica Watkins. And then in the front, we have Zena Cardman and Laurel O'Hara. And we think that, well, we hope that the mission will land on the moon in 2024. I'm not sure if that got behind at all during the pandemic, though. But that was the last year that I heard that we would make it up to the moon.
Yeah, I haven't heard any updates or changes in that. I know they're still moving forward, testing all of the new systems and stuff. Here's my video. Okay. Yay. I really liked the Percy video. Yeah. That was great. So I'm not seeing any questions at the moment. I will say hi to Mark. Mark popped in right as we started talking about Birchin. So if you do have any questions, you can leave them for us down in the comments. But I just want to reiterate, I guess, what Lindsay started off with. One of the reasons we want to make sure that we give notice and celebrate all of the amazing work that's been done is, one, because women have been in the shadows doing work that men have gotten credit for, but it's also to hopefully be an inspiration for future generations to see that it is possible. You can do this. You can be a woman and do this work, be a scientist, be an engineer, discover new things, land a spacecraft on another planet. Like, you're completely capable of doing that. And we just walk on the moon. Yeah. And so we just like providing those role models because, I mean, Eli, we love you, but guys have lots of role models.
Yep.
So we like to show the female role models as well.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
And I don't know, I guess female role models, it's good to have those for females too, but they can still be role models for guys too. Like, we need to see more women to see that happen for sure.
Yeah. So I think it's been a lot of fun this month doing all of our history shows and putting this new one. I definitely think this new one should stay in rotation. If you're okay with that, Lindsay, I really like it.
Yeah, I enjoyed doing it.
So yeah, we hope that you have, enjoyed the series we've done this month, learned about some awesome new people, maybe learned some things that you previously thought were attributed to a guy weren't. Harvard Observatory. But yeah, so I'm not seeing any questions, so I will still give that a few more minutes. And let me tell you a little bit about what's coming up over the next week. So on Saturday, we're doing our second show in the exploration series, taking a look at black holes. This has been a requested topic and definitely one of the most asked topics, I would say, in different things we've done. We, both in person and virtual, we get asked about black holes a lot. So I figured it was time we just do a show, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So you can join us Saturday for that. And then next week, we are starting April. So we will be doing our usual beginning of the month shows. On Wednesday, doing What's Up April edition, and next Saturday, doing April Constellation Storytime. So yeah, other than that, I guess we have our date set. So even though I don't have the flyer finished, I can go ahead and talk about. We've got our date set for our Astronomy Day that we're going to be doing this year. That is going to be Saturday, May 22nd from 2 to 4 p.m. We'll get information and events up on our social media and website. I'm still working on finalizing graphics and stuff, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to put together some little activity kits so that you can do astronomy for yourself at home, become an astronomer. So we'll have some kits that will help you do that, really fun activities in there. We will hopefully also have some demos that you can safely watch from a distance. And yeah, some other fun stuff. We'll give more information as we get closer. But mark that on your calendar, May 22nd, 2 to 4 p.m. outside the Planetarium, our socially distanced astronomy day. We're very excited to put this on this year and do somewhat normal, not really normal. It's a very scaled back version of our usual astronomy day, but we're excited to do something to celebrate it since we switched to online right before we were supposed to have astronomy day last year and didn't end up getting to do it.
What day was astronomy day supposed to be last year?
April 4th.
Oh, it was supposed to be. Okay.
Yeah.
Thought I remember
On your birthday.
Yep. That would have been. Was that? Yeah. I remember that. I remember Josh was Josh was there, wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep, I do remember.
So we ended up doing a virtual. That was our big first virtual event we did, was the virtual astronomy day. But yeah, So we're excited. It's going to be fun. Like I said, lots of more information coming out as soon as we can. We just finalized the date yesterday, so you can expect information coming out very soon with specifics on that. But with that, I guess we will wrap it up. Thank you, Lindsay, for another amazing Herstory show. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you enjoyed this, we do stream regularly here on Facebook on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 7 p.m. Central, so you can always come back and check out another video. We've done lots. We've been here for a year now, so if you're interested in seeing some of the past shows, you can always go check that out in the videos tab of our Facebook page. They're also all up on our YouTube channel, if you would prefer to do that way. But yeah, thank you for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we will see you again next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.